So today we're going to be having a very brief talk on the creative industry, the growing hub of the southeastern Nigeria. So, Mr. Ben, I think you have to share your thoughts on what you see from what it has been before. And then for most of us who have been out of the East to practice film, then come back and trying to put especially the southeastern states in the map of entertainment, what you think it's like at the moment than where it's better off from what it used to be.
All right, thank you, Jesse. Okay, the creative industry in Southeast, filmmaking to be precise, I think just like every other industry in Nigeria is growing. You would say it has been positive. Looking back at 5 years ago, or even less than 10 years ago, you can see that there has been some positive changes. In terms of what makes film unique is its environment. One would always say Lagos is the center of entertainment, or even the center of business in Nigeria. Lagos has infrastructure. If I'm doing a film that has to do with city, Lagos will be more favorable because of the infrastructure there.
Okay.
The Lekki Bridge has always been
the trademark of
Nollywood. So, but there is now bridges in Anambra State,
okay,
to be precise,
like Aroma,
Kwata, and all that. And the other roads and all that opening up. We have new hotels now, have new schools, have new offices we can use for movies. So I can say positively, yeah, it's growing.
Okay, Cynthia has been shooting in Naka from the years I knew her. From photographer to fully cinematographer, drone pilot, editor. She has done a couple of productions. So Cynthia, how is it like? Like, do you think we match what Bennett said?
I think there is growth, basically in the eastern Nigeria. I think film started here.
Okay. That argument is a long one.
It's not too long. I think film started here. Just the other day on YouTube, I bumped into, I think the name of the movie is Opa or something. And you are seeing where they are shooting with full HD and all that. I enjoyed it. I stayed on that page for some time, watching the movie. I think the Igbos or the Eastern Nigeria, they understood film, quite early. And over the time, there was an overtake when he was talking about the development infrastructure and all that. And the wave, moved it towards that direction. But we still understood the core essence of film. And over the time, we see growth. Trying to match us to Lagos might not really be the actual thing, but we have grown in a lot of things. Just like he was saying, infrastructure-wise, conscious, being, film conscious, being film scholars. There are film scholars in the East now, and I think years back, it was quite low in number. There are a lot of, film consciousness now, when people are trying to do a lot of things. And somehow, even when we, talk about film and production, we don't really put TikTokers,
Okay.
But they are doing something. They said somebody gave a quote and said, pick a camera, shoot something, and put your name on it. You are the producer. You understand? You're the director. And that is what people have, now became conscious of. They pick their phones, they shoot a whole lot of things, and they put it out there. You actually watch and enjoy it. I think that's innovation. I think we're moving. I think it won't take us too long to, be on the world map with people in the Eastern Nigeria, basically.
Okay, talking of the consciousness, and most times people want to involve, we have decided to call them content creators, So there's a gap now between filmmakers and content creators, because somebody can just walk the street and then do whatever they like, and I sincerely don't want to go into the type of content that will get down here and what is being said online there. But this conversation is going to be like, with the standards of film made here and the standard of films made in Lagos, would once actually say that, for example, film, like we always claim, said, I want to use allegedly now, started in Enugu State, like most have said, and that conversation is something that one day I'm going to bump into fully to actually get the details, because I've heard different versions of it. With what is being done, like you just mentioned, the overtaking now, what is being achieved here, can you compare it in the standards of what we get in Lagos? And then we'll now talk about the market for it too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think if we want to be honest, yes, we can. And again, the question of where you're asking from, if you're asking about like glamour, you want to make a film about glamour, yes, Lagos should be based on location, based on infrastructure, which I mentioned earlier. If you're looking at it from the epic side, definitely Southeast. So it depends on the kind of film you're making.
Okay.
I, for one, I can't entirely make a film about glamour in Oka. We don't yet have that kind of infrastructure. Looking at clubs, we have clubs here, but those clubs are not yet positioned towards filmmaking. For instance, unlike you have in Lagos, that there are many clubs there, and the opportunity to use one is vast than we have here. Secondly, we are talking about nightlife. I cannot shoot from here to say Wata at night. Obviously, darkness and the kind of environment we have now, you meet almost an empty street at night. But that's not Lagos. Lagos never sleeps. So, but if we want to be honest and look at from other angles and say, depending on the kind of film we're talking about, yes, there are many quality films that has been produced in Southeast, even in Anambra State. That there's one shot in Enugu, for example, Yahoo Plus. It's on Netflix. So you can't say we don't make quality films. Yeah, we do. But you have to ask from the point of what kind of film.
Okay. So now talking about quality films, I know a couple of films done here, and I would mention some that I know of. You just mentioned Yahoo Plus, Ebuka Njoko,
Yes.
and I happen to equally have seen The Owner that he did, and then there are some others, yours, Class of Secret, Making Booze on YouTube, and the rest of them. And then there was one done last year about Oba. I happened to see this year during the film festival of City. So now I want to bring a movie to perspective, a movie that's currently topping the chart list now, which is Chas of Place movie, Hijack 93. Say somebody has to take that off from where he did it, and somebody believes Chas could have done that only because it was done in Lagos. So do you think if that show was put down here, it was obtainable with what we have right now?
Yeah. Yes, of course. We have airports in Anambra State.
Okay.
It's possible. In fact, even that airport will favor him more because there isn't much flights daily, unlike Lagos, which is more like the busiest airport in Nigeria. So yes, it can be done here. We have airports. We have the facility to do it. The movie do not even have much location. Most of the locations that we are filmed at the airport, apart from some of the exteriors they did, not even exteriors, interiors they did at the one that had some Dede, and the one had Kalu, one of the fathers of the hijackers. So yes, it's possible. But I guess why he moved it into Lagos is we also look at where the company is based, and also the actors he used. Majority of them are based in Lagos. So if you look at cost logistics, yes, as a businessman and as an Igbo man, he went for where it would be more affordable for him.
Exactly, that is the same business aspect we're talking about.
You don't get the point. He would have, if he had wanted to use actors from the East.
Yes.
He
would have. I think East would have favored him more.
Yes.
Because we are not big on sets, set designs and set. There's a lot of the Eastern Nigeria. The airport he is referring to is like a white canvas. You can actually paint it the way you want and actually have a better outlook. And we are talking about, if you're talking about logistics, your cast, you're bringing them down here. As much as you're going to spend on their on the flights and all that, there are a lot of things you can recover from, being here. You can put them in big hotels and still not pay as much as it is in Lagos, because we all know how the cost of securing a land and building a hotel in Lagos, what it's like. But here, people, you can cut down on a lot of other things here. And I also feel that as much as opportunity, as much as we think we don't have, we have a whole lot. And some of the time, like he was saying, that we're doing a glamour film, we were doing an epic film, where do you go for? I think we should focus more on what we have, because we have a lot in abundance in the eastern Nigeria. And if, as filmmakers, we focus more on what we have, we can actually, have a better outlook. I can be in eastern Nigeria struggling to do glamour more than the person in Lagos, because even without you're doing the interior and all that, but outside,
So,
you're looking at a fully developed city.
Okay.
Now
so
here we are getting there, but we are not there yet.
you are sending all of us. Okay, I'm in Oka, for example.
Okay.
So we should go. Ben. Now we have to go back to Epic.
No, I'm not saying
No,
go
what we
back
are
to
saying is there's film appreciation.
Okay.
There's film appreciation. Definitely, we can be doing what we have. But I'm saying, if somebody in Lagos does an epic film and somebody in Eastern Nigeria does an epic film, the Eastern Nigeria stands the better chance over that person. So when we are doing film festivals, films like that, the ones done in the Eastern Nigeria should be topping the list, because we have the infrastructure, we have what is actually needed. Do you understand? So we cannot say we will not be doing glamour, but when we are saying if we want to place a film and a film head to head, there's a better chance that we can't deny that fact. We can't be blinded and say, okay, because we're in the East, we are the best in everything. We know our strength. We should capitalize on our strength and know our weaknesses or where we are coming up. So looking at it now, we have the glamour films in Lagos. When you watch it side by side, you will appreciate it more, because you are seeing infrastructure, you are seeing a fully developed city
Aesthetics.
that has the aesthetics that is required. And here we are doing our best. Even the governor of Anambra State is doing his best, and we are all working together to make this state shine. And we will get there, but we are not there yet. But we can't beat us in epic. That's what we're saying in terms of infrastructure.
Now, I don't know how many Lagos epic films that currently top the chart.
It's not even there.
The point is,
apart from some of this Yoruba indigenous films.
Yes, because it's their local.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
I understand that these sets were actually built, not like they were existing. So what stops us?
Where are they built? Check the locations now. You still have to look at Oyo State and
inside villages.
Inside villages. That's which is what we saying. There are many
and they are topping the charts.
Yes,
That's to tell you that when we do the right thing here, we will still be at the top of our listing.
Okay, if we can actually balance this with environment,
Okay.
as per reasons, do we also consider the market? Because I don't think our people actually has the film culture here compared to what's in Lagos.
No, let me answer this one from one point. Lagos is, like we said, is former capital of Nigeria. The purchasing power in Lagos is higher than every other state. In fact, let's even compare Lagos and other southwestern states. Someone in Ekiti does not have time for cinema, same as someone in Ibadan and someone in Osun State. But Lagos is more like a cosmopolitan state. You have Igbo, you have Yoruba, you have Hausa, you have even foreigners concentrated in that city. So if there's a kind of a census to know the people that are actually coming to watch movies and cinema, you may be shocked to find out that they're not even indigenous Lagosians there. So if you're talking about market, Lagos, we should be talking about even producing film for the whole Nigeria, not just for us. If you're making film, which is some of the reasons why most of our films are not too successful. Somebody in Asaba is making movie just for someone in Asaba in Enugu. They don't think beyond this environment. If you watch a Yoruba film, you will relate. If you watch a movie like Jagu Jagu, even though you may not understand the language, apart from the subtitles, you will relate, because this film are meant for wider audience. But our own and again, the kind of film we make, we want to demonize our culture. We watch some films here. It's either a community that is killing twins, or a community that their deity is offended and is wiping out the entire community. You wouldn't find a film from these parts actually promoting their culture or promoting their deity. So I think that's just one of the issues we're having.
I think adding to what you have said, I think looking at what we do here and basically what is done there, you find that you made mention of doing a film that without thinking, trying to
Global
relate to
stage,
a
yeah.
wider audience. I think it boils down to story, the plotting of the story and the story itself. I think if we, as filmmakers and as people in the creative industry, if we take our time to craft a good story, I don't think we don't have the infrastructure to push it through. But I understand what Lagos poses as in terms of their level of exposure, and they already have. But like he was saying, if you look at statistics, you will find that you'll be amazed how many Igbos actually go to the cinemas. Do you understand? You'll be amazed how people, the appreciation level of film, if we are doing a statistics of tribe, each of the tribe watch film more. Do you understand?
Yeah.
If we are doing a head count per se, and okay, this person comes to this man, are you Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa? You can begin to understand that we have all it takes. The Eastern Nigeria, we have all it takes to actually push our productions if we put mind to it. But we are battling with a lot of things here. We are battling with a whole lot of things, and people here. I was talking to someone, some days ago. I can in Lagos, I can easily walk into an office and say, I'm a filmmaker, I'm looking for somebody to executive produce my film. And somebody can easily say, okay, sit down, let me listen to what you're saying. He can relate to what I'm saying. He can understand the film culture. He can understand that the economy is even going towards entertainment. But in Eastern Nigeria, you walk up to someone and you're talking about film, and the person is talking about number of goods. They are more interested in practicality. And you're telling them that I have a good story, I have this, you have what it
I
takes.
can even give you commercial.
And I'm telling you that in Lagos, you can be on your own now. Somebody walk up to you and say, can you do a film?
Yes,
do you understand?
that will
Here,
portray
people
my
don't come to
business.
you. And when you go to people, you will beg them. And you will explain that.
Okay. This brought us to when we're planning Class of Secrets. So Ben sent me a draft of his proposal.
Yes.
I looked at the proposal. I was supposed to be what's it called again? A consulting producer. I wasn't satisfied. So I was like, let's go meet this man headlong. Let's just go and meet him one-on-one. Leave this proposal aside. Let's go and meet this man one-on-one. And then we're looking at a school for Class of Secrets. I can remember how we dribbled. The first day we came, I think we stayed 4 hours without finally meeting the man. We left. The second time we came, he told us he was having a meeting. We waited. After 2 hours, he called us upstairs, and he wasn't really interested in what we want to say. But for the fact that some calls has been made behind bars, and then he has to listen to us. Now, it was difficult actually to penetrate a school as a film person.
It's very difficult.
So this is where I am concerned, as the Eastern Nigeria doesn't have the film culture. Because for us to actually penetrate the market, we need to actually give these people a reason to see what we do. I think that is the major problem why we have to invest so much in publicity. Because our people already, today, this morning, I had to go for a location work, and I saw a restaurant, the former restaurant where I wanted to use for the scene, and then fortunately for me, I met the owner directly. And then the first thing he was like, what's in for my pocket? And then you as a producer, you're considering actually to maybe give this man a facelift in his business. For him, he's very satisfied, just like you're saying, that, okay, what I need is money. What you're saying doesn't matter to me.
So even if you put him on the map there and the turnout, turns great, he prefers him give me 10,000 now.
Yes, because he doesn't think that the market you have is the market he needs.
And it becomes a challenge because we know how it is to, from location rec to a lot of things, you cut down. That's why we said if filmmakers are big on, creating sets, take your time. These are challenges we are facing.
Could that be the reason why we have things like Asaba Wood now?
No, I think what this thing now is about is also population. Lagos, we are always using as an example, so let's continue citing it. Lagos has a population. In a street, you could meet over big restaurant like up to 5. You can see Chicken Republic. You can see ShopRite. You can see what's it called?
Marketplace.
And a lot of them in one lane.
Yeah.
So how many of them do we have here? That's the question. So the few that is there, that's servicing the entire population, feels like they are the kings. So even if it's not about the film culture, it's about money, demand and supply. Because no matter how difficult, and there's some restaurant they say that nobody enters there to do film, but I've seen people gone there to do film. Even the school we used,
Yes.
many people have gone there, they couldn't use it. But I think it's about money, and this is what our people need to kind of real. I think podcasts like this, we can use it to change the mindset of
people.
every filmmaker they see. They want to extort you. They believe you have money. That thing you have money. Like they believe you have, so you must pay through your nose.
You see this budget matter.
And this thing you also mentioned about building sets.
Yeah.
I think that's actually the best thing. For example, this project I told you about what I'm about to do. I approached some real estate companies that have some properties they are not yet using to see if it's possible. That's some kind of partnership. Not that we won't pay. But let's use these places. They said no. It's either we are renting it for the year and we use it for whatever we want. Now they cannot give it out. These are not even new properties. They just want us to rent it. But I believe in Lagos, I could meet these people now.
And pay even per day.
And pay per day or pay per week.
Yeah.
So I decided to build a set for myself. Because it's even something I discovered is something I can even do.
Yeah.
Build my own set.
With a good art department. Because another thing we are suffering from here is actually cool professionalism. It's another big deal down here because sometimes
it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Now I've witnessed, you know why I just cited the concept which I am not so comfortable with when people say Asaba wood.
I don't know what you mean that's about.
Yes, like that.
There's only one Nollywood.
When people put them down a lot without knowing the work.
Yes.
Because you go to places like this and you are seeing already constructed sets. Let's imagine that people think they are overusing it, or maybe many productions can be going on at the same time. But we are looking at the effort they are putting to build a film village from scratch without the help of God. And do you know how these things are? People don't really appreciate. That's why I said, let us appreciate what we have. We have a lot. Let us say, okay, this is our strength and hold on to it. Do you understand? And they put these things on ground to help people. And I think Anambra also has a film village, and I know how long it's taking and how long it took us to get here. But I say that we are growing and we are getting there. But the effort of people to put some things on ground from scratch is not something to be joked about. And I don't think there's a Sabahood. I think there's Nollywood for everybody. And when people were younger, they always put down and say, this one is a Sabahood and all that. But you don't see the effort. They put in so much. They made it. In fact, that the Eastern Nigeria is associated with a movie community or a movie. It's because of Asaba, and that's how we put ourselves in the map of Nigeria to even start with. And most of those films, we've had many great actors from there.
Even great films just done in Asaba
and they grew. They moved to Lagos, and they grew. They moved to Lagos.
In addition to what she said, I think we need to start telling our stories.
Sure.
That's one of the issues that
our own original stories.
Telling these individual stories, our efforts. You watch, for example, films in Lagos, you see behind the scenes. They make it look like they've done extraordinary things. You see the props and said guy describing how
he created something out of his head.
But in our own part, we don't really show it. We just want to show people the final result. And that's what makes it look like we didn't put effort there. But in the other part of Nigeria, you have to see everything. Both the scripting, we do script conferences here. We have meetings. We have table reading here. But over there, you see the table reading. You see it in videos. You see it in video. You see it even in news, on television. Be like, these people are doing a lot of.
So documentation is another part of it.
Documentation is one part of it. Publicity is another part of it. Because we can't. From here now, you're doing a film. You're trying to get Silverbird and some other television stations to come down here or use our local stations, and they are looking at it from different perspectives. But there are media houses in Lagos that when you're doing a film, just give them a hint, they will be there. Sometimes they will partner with you kind of and say, okay, can we get this when you're
just
done?
Because they
are willing, they are enthusiastic about what you're doing. They want to promote. So it's more like all hands on deck kind of thing, where everybody is trying to achieve the same thing. And today now we can talk about big people in Lagos. And if you look back years, before now, you see where they were. They started somewhere. If you look back, some without television stations, some without, a lot of things. But over the time, gradually they grew. And now even some actors are now big, like what we are saying. I can remember some of these Asabawood. You see people like RFD. You see people. They all started somewhere,
Yeah.
and that's why when I say the film in culture started from the Eastern Nigeria, and there's nothing to argue if the facts are there. There's nothing to argue
it's
about.
Going to be an everlasting argument on
It's
that
not.
part.
There's nothing really to argue. If you look at the first movie in Nigeria, whether it's in terms of a TV show, whether in terms of a full-fledged feature film, you look at them, the facts are there. And these are people that started with what? Full HD. And they carry like this. And they do a whole lot of things.
With that picture that they look for in the
and I'm looking at a movement. I told you I was watching it. I was looking at movement. You see the close-up, you see the whole thing. There was an effort. And there's a tendency that film was shot with one camera.
Sure.
You will see close up, you will see the master shot, you will see a whole lot of things, and you will appreciate it. And so that is why I said, let us look at our strength. We have a lot of strength. There is a lot of things we can put here. There are a lot of people, film scholars, in terms of Unizik here. We have a theater department that is going day by day. We have a film department in Ebonyi State, and now we have at the Barium. And look at the number of film scholars that are graduating yearly basis, and we have to just encourage them so that they will know that whatever they're traveling there to do, they can do better. Because the idea is to, if you focus on your strengths, you have a better chance of coming up than igakwa panyekwa na the real thing that they are doing there. You become one of them, but you can actually separate yourself when you do something that is indigenous, that is based on our strengths here. You can actually have a chance to meet up with the international market.
Okay, Ben mentioned something about telling a story, and then you also mentioned about having the mindset of a global stage, a global audience in your movie. And then I think this is where somehow is a miss for us.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes, just like you said, somebody looks at his budget and he has to make do. I don't know if you're getting it. You have to make do. There is some place in Centenary City in Enugu, very beautiful apartments and all of that. And then you come there, day by day, film people are there. In fact, you have to drag to get a space to shoot for like 2 days or 3, because the owner might not be able to give you more than 5 days, because there are other people on the league, just because that place is where it's raining now. I think there's somewhere like that in Asaba as well. And then you now calculate how much, just like the real estate guys told you, how much these people are increasing by the day, just because they are seeing the traffic coming there. And then you're looking at your budget, and it limits what you want to achieve. Because for me to use here, probably 1/3 of my budget has to go into location payments alone, and they've not considered what I'm feeding people, equipment I'm renting, there's the number of days I'm shooting, and remuneration that follows, and then your personal expense that didn't come inside your budget. Then at the end of the day, you have to resort to the what your budget can afford. Where do we start from to navigate these hurdles?
I've said this before. I've written about it before, but it ended up on Facebook. That's funny. I'm always using Anambra as an example. But the government needs to really look into this. The creative industry. They may not like it, but the creative industry has been one of the biggest employer of labor, especially the young people.
Yeah,
in Anambra
I agree
State.
with you on that.
There is no film I've done that we don't work with at least 10 persons, and they are paid.
Yes.
Now this means you are engaging over 10 people actively,
and they are paid daily.
And it's daily pay. And we are looking at not just the crew, we are looking at the businesses around. If you are doing a movie, for example, the restaurant around is business for them. Creatives Converse has over 60 characters and crew. That's like morning and night. That's like 60. That's 120 plates of food every day. The restaurant there is already getting something from us, and the person is paying government tax. Now, locations we're using, there's some location you must pay, no matter how the relationship is, you must pay. The government needs to look into this.
If you're not paying, you're taking care of some bills, electricity and the rest of that.
Which is the taxation.
It's money, yeah.
So this, if they want this thing to be sustainable, because I've seen people that have done film last year and they are not doing it again because they cannot sustain it.
Sure.
if the government want this to be sustainable, want people to wake up every day and going to say like they do in Asaba. Asaba is like an everyday job.
Yeah.
Because some person, so I'm busy, I'm shooting. And that's me keeping some. There's nothing like keeping a young person busy than sitting idle at home doing nothing. Now, if the government wants it to be sustainable, they need to make some kind of nobody's asking for free money. I've said it before. I've never said government to give me money, let me do film. But I want an environment, an enabling environment. For example, I want to shoot in a government-owned facility or school. There's a reasonable way to make, even if it's payments, let it be reasonable. Another state government can have a film board through the Ministry of either Youth
or Culture, Entertainment, and
have equipment.
Yeah.
That young people film. If once you're doing film in Anambra State and say 60% of your crew member are residents of here, it must not be indigenous.
Yes.
Residents in Anambra State. Okay, come, we'll give you this equipment at this rate. That will encourage even those in Lagos coming down here to film. Because most of the equipment I use, I get it from outside.
Sure.
The cost of bringing it here and all that. But if we have such things here, government say, okay, you're using, and there's a proven fact that you're using actors here, you're using crew here, and 60% of it are living here. Come and take equipment at this rate. If you want to film in any government offices, you need an office setting. Most films do. We have places you can film at this certain rate, or at no rate, which if you can pay for electricity bill or something like that. It will encourage people to keep coming here. Government can have agreement with hotels.
And it generates money for them.
They can have agreement with hotels. If someone is using hotel for 4-5 days, okay, this is the rate. Give them
a discount.
Or the government can even build their own hotels and manage it.
Well, we cannot really expect the government of the day
to build hotels.
But I know that they regulate a lot of things.
Yes.
So for hotels that give, where I'm coming from, for hotels that can give filmmakers a discount, say 30% or 20% discount, that discount should be applied in their tax waiver.
Yes.
So this ends, the government can enable us. Because I know Anambra State has been doing a lot to do a map chain and a creative economy system structure that they've been laboring for. I was in one of the conventions last year, early this year. Yeah? So most times I look at it that sincerely, if I'm being sincere to ourselves, government cannot buy equipment and keep.
No, it's possible. It is really, really possible.
There's
because even in casting station,
okay,
it could be a pally. The FBS is acquiring equipment every year. They can acquire film equipment. There's nothing. There used to be an FBS Film Academy. It's possible.
I think we have been in Nigeria long enough to begin to think of what we can and what we cannot have.
Yes.
There's a whole lot of things that we can actually have, and there are a lot of things that can be put on ground. I was speaking to a friend who lives in one of the French speaking countries, and they were telling me that once you have a good script, you shoot. The government goes all out for you. It's basically like they support you all through. Once you have a film script, you go through the normal process. They will support you. You're basically shooting
because they know how much is coming back.
That's what I'm saying. When a community or a state or a country, or their revenue revolves around entertainment, you tell me that government cannot buy cameras.
That is the point.
Do you understand? And there are many things to put on ground. If we are talking about that, they can put it and make sure that at least one of their personnel or two of their, put up a system whereby these people are on set. They scrutinize the story. They look at some things and they're on set. The problem we might be having is not about saying that government cannot get those things. I think the problem we were having was there was a time a certain president was in power, and they said they gave grants for filmmakers. And somehow we are filmmakers. Mm-hmm. So from your house, you are happy that they gave grants for filmmakers. And we pursued those grants, and it never came. And I think, around a certain group of people, they write the script, they submit, they approve, it's just within themselves.
So this is where I have
becomes a problem.
No, it's not really much problem.
It's not much of a problem because there are things to do to put those things at bay.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you.
They are local governments.
Sorry to cut you.
They are local governments.
We if we are being sincere,
What kind
We
of
know,
sincerity?
no,
That's
no.
not sincerity again.
I'm being,
what you're trying to
because
say
we're-
is
we're-
that
we're in a
if
system-
we want to lie to ourselves,
okay,
Yeah,
you're trying
to
because
say.
we,
Now,
there are countries whereby the citizens are paid for doing nothing. Don't you know?
we are even going far.
We are going far now.
That's what I'm
I want to
saying.
say, I want
You're
to say
saying
something
if
about
we're being sincere.
yes. Why I'm saying this is that I'm not saying government cannot afford
Okay.
to buy cameras
Okay.
or equipment for filmmakers. I am trying to say that the persons that government are ready to hand this, you just mentioned ABS. Please,
Okay.
if we trace back, I don't really want to drag the ABS facts, but then the academy is in shambles.
Okay,
And every
no.
single equipment, no, this is Anambra State. I can say it is my state. Every
No.
single equipment that was acquired for that thing, I doubt if the current management can actually give account of it.
No, it's not.
I don't know
It's not
about
like
that
that. We are not there. We don't know.
I don't
But
know
I
about that
think,
one.
I think there's a board that takes care of that.
Yes.
We cannot speculate because we are
You are
here.
not
Yes.
If I have a bigger insight on it, I will be obliged. I will be obliged to tell you, but I don't. But I feel that these things are being monitored. It's not just there. They're not hanging in the air. So if you of course you have done productions and you know that when you are shooting, one of your battery can fall and break,
It breaks,
and a whole lot of things can happen to your lens. And we are, with or without, these things happen. And but to say that they have disappeared, no. But I think even if they have passed through the process while doing a production, that the production itself, the outcome of the production becomes the success story they have to tell. Irrespective of the fact that there might be one or two damages, we don't know these things and we cannot speculate about it. But I feel that it cannot be a discouragement to the government
Yes.
because certain good ideas can fall into the wrong hands and good or might not be executed properly, but it doesn't mean that they're no longer good ideas. So these good ideas, we cannot discourage the government, and especially when you're talking about the government who might not understand entertainment as a whole. We cannot discourage the government from shying away from these things because many countries, many people have anchored their revenue and resources around
The creative
entertainment,
economy.
and they are doing well because there are countries that don't have oil, that they are not top tourism, whatever. And looking at the security issues in Nigeria, I think entertainment is the best place we can go into and still have
Freedom
because we are not much tourists are coming into our areas now. People that are companies, some companies are even closing down because of the whole
system.
Yeah. So, but if you look at entertainment, we the locals, the people we that are here can actually do something, put it out there, and it gets to the global map without us doing so much. Do you understand what I mean? So these are the things. That's why it's always about holding on to our strengths, turning a blind eye to our weaknesses, because there are a lot of things we can call weaknesses that will derail filmmakers from making film in Nigeria. But you cannot tell somebody in 200 level that the hope is gone, that they are hopeless.
No.
And that is what we are talking about, location and how to curb it. When I believe I want to touch it a little bit, when we're talking about film and somebody brings a script to me and say I want to do this project, it's not like I discourage people, but I want to know what is on ground for this project. Because every project that is done and put in the cupboard is a waste of time.
Yes.
I'm sorry. So when I'm talking with young people and they say they have this, I see the hunger.
My first
but I want
me
to
watch
see,
them.
I want to see where this thing is going. Even if you don't have so much people, followers on YouTube, I want to hear you say you're going there, because I can support you to a point, but I can't. You take a horse to the stream, you can't force it to.
Yeah.
Let's say I assist you and they come to me and say they need my equipment. Let's say I give you all of that. I want to see that film succeed. That's my happiness. If that film is not going anywhere, it's a waste of time.
A waste of time and resources.
So when we bring a script, for instance, and we analyze this film script and we look at the locations involved, this is where I think your budget should come from, that kind of thing. So you're looking at it and we say, do we have a budget for this film? What locations are accessible? How can we get them? You are getting a budget based on what you think is obtainable. So you're looking at a script and you see a difficult situation, but you know that if you have a warehouse, you can actually build a parlor set. And you're looking at that film and you are seeing that we have over 50 scenes that will be shot in one place. And you look at logistics and say we can, even if we shoot 10 scenes per day, which is high, depending on how long or how short or technical the film is, you can't shoot 10 a day. And you're looking to rent a space for 10 days, 5 days or thereabout. So these are things you look at and you be like, okay, let's do something. And people are not encouraged. I studied theater and film at Unizik, and during our productions, we are doing a play. We go out and rent chairs, we rent rugs, and most of the time you see your friend that has this and say, I want to use this your table, I'll give you 5,000. Do you understand? You can actually have a mindset that you can build it. You use the lengthy space, build this thing, because you know you'll be shooting for a number of days that are really lengthy, to cut these things down. Most people, we cannot buy this seat for the film, but we can rent it for 2 to 3 days, and the owner of this seat can say, carry it, shoot it and bring it back to me. This is the mentality, and not always going to a well-prepared place. This place is nice. So you can actually put some things up. I have this, I have that, you put it. And when we do these stage productions, we have fan, television, everything on stage. And after that day's production, we return everything. And I've seen situations whereby we rent chair in a, rent things. So these are things we encourage people. Once you can be able to assess these things, analyze it before you even say, okay, this money we do for this production. Now, so that when you're doing your production breakdown, you have these things already, so that you as a producer will not be struggling with the budget. So you bring a script and somebody says, I have a budget of 2 million. It doesn't magically do the film. Because if you want to force it, you will now start cutting down on things that are essential. They are all obligatory things. When you do your script analysis and you say, okay, we can actually make do without this and this, you can adjust a lot of things before the production, so that when you are working, you're already working with a budget that you already put out there. But when you take a film and say, this 2 million can do this film, and you start, it will choke you. So this is what I encourage young people to do. Do normal, proper analysis before, and get the idea of the entire cost of your production. Now, when you finish, your publicity is another thing. You make sure that there is publicity plans that will take that film to the, to an audience. Yes. It might not be the whole world, but at least if you're targeting school students, you should make a publicity arrangement that will get school students to see as much of that film as possible. Put things on ground, and these are things that when you do a film and produce it and you have done well, you can now see people who can be willing to executive produce your film because they have seen your output. Okay, so that's basically.
I was going to add I was talking about equipment, also logistics. Our story when we try to assess the cost in the Ministry of Youth, how it was impossible, nearly impossible. Nobody is asking the government to spoon feed us. Nobody. It's obvious the government cannot give you free. Yeah. Government is there to also make money. So we're asking for a bus, which we can pay some substantial amount of money. Because if you go to private people, GO, for an example, will charge you nothing less than 50K per day.
Depending
on the location, nothing less than 50K per day. And you're shooting for 7 days. 50,000 times 7 days. It's not even sustainable for an independent filmmaker. But if the government can give you 20,000, or even say fail the bus and pay the driver, the bus is one of the fleets of their buses. It helps you as a filmmaker.
And there are a lot of them, some even packed in ministries that are not being put to use.
So these are things. So you can't say the government cannot. It's possible. There are local government system in Anambra State. If each local government have a film board for creative, you want to shoot film, okay, come here. Present your budget, present your whatever you're doing. If it's okay, the government likes the story, something that promotes good morals, something that promotes the state anywhere. Yes, we approve it, give you equipment at a certain rate. You will see that the number of production going on in the states is more than what we have now. But these things are not here. Everybody is struggling on their own. Everybody is struggling on their own. And you don't expect it to last.
Yeah.
They do it 1, 2 years, they move to Lagos. A new set start again, 1-2 years.
The struggle
moves to Lagos.
Because as saturated as Lagos is, the locations are quite cheap.
Yes, very, very cheap.
Definitely.
Do you know that?
I get apartments with swimming pools and everything.
There's very affordable. I think one of my holidays, I traveled with my family, and because I'm a filmmaker, I got a location of a house, and I stayed there for like 7 days. As much as a filmmaker could get at a discounted rate. So these are the things. You see things, very expensive things. You see expensive houses, well-detailed houses, and they are giving you, because you're a filmmaker, they know how these things work. But here, you see a house you want, you want to get it.
They will even tell
it's
you,
a struggle.
make sure they don't
this,
see
that.
they don't see more than 3 or 4 persons there.
Some will even give you a number of persons.
Yeah.
Although
Becomes a problem.
does by property management system, it can be addressed. So where I have concerns now, it's about the boards. Let's say the government starts today to appoint boards, and then I wouldn't want to exaggerate things. I think 60% of movies we make sometimes are fictional.
Okay.
Now, and then if we want government to actually support us, I think we should equally put our foot down the roots and tell things that recently there have been concerns over how Nollywood portrays Igbo traditions and culture.
Not Igbo traditions. I think the DBS basically.
It's not just DBS. It's not just DBS because
I think the oversaturated one is the DBS. Because every time you see a DBS on a good man, do you understand? He's killing someone, and we forgot that we have DBS are just like doctors, and long before now, I've heard stories, I've seen situations whereby somebody come to do a particular kind of charm, and the DBS said no. Do you understand?
Yes.
And DBS says, what do you want to do? Oh, this said no, I can't do it.
Another thing is needed. Thankfully, in Anambra State, we have Anambra State Broadcasting Service, chance radio and television. I don't think there used to be a creative program there hosted by the one certain called they are doing on the show. But I think we should narrow this thing down. Talking about just creatives is not enough. There should be like a film show like they have in other state-owned television. TVC Lagos has a film show where every week they review films produced in Lagos. That could encourage us making films in Nigeria, in Anambra.
So you're saying that you want to start up?
I won't be the one. They have staff.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Because these ideas are ideas that sometimes you have to
be involved,
reawaken their consciousness to a certain point. And if we sell this and tell them that, because we need people that do it, and again we need people that understand film. You can't start a program that you don't understand. So let's even imagine that person's read film something in school and has not practiced for 10 or 15 years.
Has not been practiced at all because there are a lot of people that graduate and
so
never
how
practice.
Do you now? So I think as we are looking in the mirror in this case, people like you should step up and
get a slot. Possibly.
I am not a staff.
No. The thing is,
as an individual, you can come up with a proposal, give it to this thing, and you don't know the direction. Have a discussion with whoever runs there, and if there are people that like innovation, that welcome good ideas, then they can work on it, and you can even be a consultant or whatever.
Yeah, because currently I know
go on a short-term contract with them to spearhead that kind of program
for a period of time.
Once it's going to boom. Do you understand?
But I know Afia TV recently started showing Odogu Bubu, Zomwada, whatever, and then there's some other Unzuko programs they do, and such analogies can equally be imbibed here. And to be sincere, I know there's either Channel 5 in Amobia of ATA.
I don't know.
That Enugu Agidi Road that I have never seen their channel on the TV before.
I think television has in Nigeria has moved into DSTV or YouTube
and Go TV.
Online, and if you're not in that platform, people don't take the stress to go and look for that channel and watch it. So I think whatever we were doing, we have to find a way to put ourselves out there with what is trending now. Because if, as much as we are looking for visibility, if we are not in the right place, we might be wasting our time. So it's just like going to a bus stop and standing. The bus will come, stop there, pick people there. Then you go and stand there where there is no bus stop. Even if you are shouting, "Car, see me here, see me here." There's a tendency you stay there from morning to night and no bus will stop. And that is why it's important to follow the trend, know where it is. Even if it means that the television station itself, Anambra Broadcasting, moves to DSTV. I don't know whether they've done that. They can move to DSTV and now tell people, with this already station cable that you already have, just press 125, 138 and get to us. And then that is the innovation. So people don't go all out to go and watch that station.
Wow.
Do you understand?
That's it.
Put it there, and it becomes part of the visibility. It helps us, the filmmakers, in the sense that whatever we bring to you guys, as in terms of advert, as in terms of publicity, or in terms of sensitization, we will make sure that it is reaching the right audience at the right time.
Still on the film culture thing, this is the last thing we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Still on the film culture thing, I think, let me not think. What do you make of, Nigerians naturally, we hate to be criticized, but we take the leading position in what we claim to be criticism, because what we do in Nigeria is tear down.
Okay.
And I will cite, I know when we did Class of Secrets. Come on, if you don't have her, don't come to Twitter that period. If you don't, at the point I was beating Benneth's BP because he was was boss. And then they just did it to Charles Alake's film.
Okay.
I think the only movie that ever came to Nigeria and sentiment did not allow us know who was saying the truth was a tribe called Judah. To be sincere, sentiment that we didn't know who was supportive and who was not. You come online, you just see different narratives or sentiments and you let it be. How has this thing, because I think it murders the zeal of creativity here, where you do every effort, put in your resources, and then the film comes out, a group of people who claim to be critics goes down there and doesn't know what it actually means to criticize a movie, tears down your work.
Sorry, I will speak first. Because when you talk to a nerve, it's always like that. I think for film scholars or film people, creatives, they have to understand one thing first. In school, we do a production on stage, we come back, we do what we call Viva. Viva is where they analyze what you've done, criticize what you've done. But in the sense of criticism, they give you corrections. So as somebody that passed through university, that studied film and passed through that process, there is no production without Viva. If we do production and no Viva, there's a tendency we will redo that production. There is none. That is one thing. Secondly, there is nothing like bad publicity. Everything, negative or positive, is pushing your project. So
is it what it's supposed to be or what we've accepted it to be?
No, I'm telling you, anywhere in the world, there's no publicity and bad publicity. I know, as far as you're a filmmaker, a creative person, what I'm saying in the essence is that when somebody is saying this film is nonsense, this film is stupid, what are they thinking? And I'm here and I've not seen the film. I want to see the film and see the stupidity that these people exhibited. And that is all we need as a filmmaker. Because if I wanted to consult every other person, I would have done it before shooting the film. But I want to see it and see your reaction. And sometimes, if you look at them, there are ones that might be like, okay, we really need to step up. But whatever the case may be, as much people are shouting about it, as much you get more views. And as much as you want to check on his BP with that time, the numbers were going up. And that is what he needs as a filmmaker. So when we are talking about criticism, I understand that we do a total tear down. And I know that people have feelings, but I think as creatives, this engagement is what we're looking for. These reactions is what we're looking for. And we might not expect everybody to react the way we want them to react. Because they must have watched that film enough for you to evolve an emotion in them. You must have publicized enough for you to get that number of people shouting and saying something at that same time. And that is the success of that film, for me, technically. Okay. So when we're talking about, but we cannot encourage a cyberbully or some other kind of, bad behavior when people are online. But I'm trying to say that as filmmakers, these are things that we are groomed with, and we understand it, that reaction from people is one of the things we are looking at. But again, when you feel it's too harsh, there's no smoke without fire. You've done a film, people are reacting to it in different ways. Just find out what you think is a step up for you and discard those things as far as you have.
Let me cite this. I was waiting, because I follow Charles, I was waiting for Hijack 93 to come out. So I'm getting also back to that. But then, after seeing the movie, I think I didn't have any comment to make until I started reading comments online. To be sincere, I was just okay with what I saw. And then, boom. As a matter of fact, as we speak now, I don't have to Twitter account again. Because I sincerely don't want to read again. What Nigerians do, I don't know about other people, but what I've witnessed online, as much as we want to accept that there's nothing called bad publicity and good publicity, a tear down is a tear down. And it has effect on that work. Okay. Because we are equally looking at the global audience at the same time. And you wouldn't see a foreign media do that unless it's intentionally planted. And what Nigerians do, it's not intentional. You just see people come out. I think Ben has experience to tell. How was it like for Class of Secrets?
Okay, no. Once people criticize my movie, I want first thing I check is where it's coming from. When we dropped Class of Secrets, somebody said, I wasn't on Twitter then. My Twitter was disabled. Somebody sent me screenshots of somebody calling Class of Secrets a low budget. Class of Secrets.
Low budget,
low budget, far from home. I didn't know who the person is. I was like, normal rant. I just said, I leave these people job. The lady said again, do you know who said this? I said, no, he said he's the writer of Far From Home. The person that wrote Far From Home said it. I took interest. I created another Twitter account. I went over there. I saw the actors, Emeka Abara, I saw him there. I saw this guy, Mark Afolayan, the guy that played Ishaya. I saw him there. They were all dragging the film. I said, well, it's actually good. If these people with the Netflix budget and they are able to notice this film and they are picking characters from the film
and they are associating it.
They are picking characters from the film. If they will bring one of my actors, bring their own actor, maybe they say maybe this guy here is they call one of the guys here what's it called stove trade, and they were doing this. I said, wow, that's before I knew 24 hours later my movie is 200K. I was like, oh really? Just the actor was feeling bad. The guy was depressed. Said, this is the first film he's acting and they are.
He complained that to my dear.
I told him, say, calm down.
That's why you say it's not for the faint.
You're getting exposed. He said, but it's in the wrong way. I said, you did not act bad. You're just comparing that you look hungry. Take it, absorb it, nothing. Now I saw some persons who are jealous. They were just dragging the movie. I saw those ones are the ones that I sent third party to go and attack those ones. So for me, criticism, I accept it. But when you are being very personal about it, if not even watch, some of them have not watched the film.
That's the point.
Because they hear someone say, they say, it's not this rubbish.
That's the point. We need to distinguish what to.
But it's just that you cannot control it. You cannot control cyberbullying. Nigeria is where somebody has 50 MB at his room, you can just type anything and post it.
The orientation actually has to start coming from we, the filmmakers.
There's nothing you can do.
Just bring a sensitization into the system.
I don't think
there's something you can do about it.
I think it's about, this generation has given room for opinion.
Yeah.
Like people air their opinion, and sometimes when something is come up and people say, look at this thing, have you seen it? I say, who wrote this thing? Have they eaten 3 square meals? Who are they? Where are they coming from? Like what I'm saying is that anybody can write it. Do you know that my daughter that is 7 years can pick a phone and write something? Once she understands how to write and read English, now I'll be in my room crying because a 7-year-old. Do you understand? So when you begin to look at these things critically in that way, you understand what social media and sensitization and this thing has been about. It's not about sensitization, no matter how much you want to sensitize them. Once the feeling comes, then they know that they have a means to air it. They just air it and think later. They don't think before they air. They air it first and think later. And sometimes they want to sound different. They want to sound hard on Facebook. And that's where we're talking about cyberbullying. I had a situation whereby I lost a very close relation, a brother, and within less than 24 hours of that incident, it was online. And I came up to the post and said, please, you should check first to know whether the families are aware before you put it there. You can't have a mother going through on Facebook and see where you are writing RIP for the son. And the person told me that, what do I mean? That the parents already know. This person is talking to me. And
it's her brother.
Legitly, it's my brother. And everybody in my family is with the parents directly. And with that's the moment. Try not to make them see it. And I'm telling this person from a direct, and this person is telling me that, what do I mean? That him and this person is very close. They studied in the UK. They studied in that the family already knows. As he's speaking, this one is happening. And me, I'm an insider. So what do I have to do? To come on Facebook and start telling people that I'm the insider? I know I can't do that. I just ignored him. And he started calling me names, and I left. And another person said, do you know this person you're talking to is actually so person to this person? Like if there's anybody online that will tell you what is this person. And the other one came in and said, not mine. They were just dragging. I went inside this box. and I said, I'm sorry for how I attacked you. The approach was for me to change it. I said, I am sorry for the way I attacked you. You're not the cause of my pain. I'm actually disarranged by this message. You're not the cause of my pain, so I don't have to take it out on you. But these people are not aware. He now said, okay, that he's sorry. Do you understand? I had to change the approach. But even as we had that in discussion and he understood that he's sorry and all that, the post is still like that. The main page. Wait, people are still dragging me. Do you understand? Based on what he started off there. And that is how it is with people. No matter what you tell them, Facebook, all the social media platforms are already there. They want to put it out there. They want to be the first to comment. They want to be the first to say this. Okay. They want to be the first to do that. They act off. And what I tell, one thing I have is message for the young actors and creatives. They should understand that criticism is part of the work. And I've seen where my lecturers will say, you people did rubbish. And they will do this thing, and they will sometimes one of them will look at each other and say, you did nonsense. They will now say, let's give them a pass. Do you understand? They see the hard work we have done. They know that we are putting so much. They see us doing rehearsal. They see us running around. But they criticize you, and sometimes they say, okay, you guys actually can barely pass or can scale through. But we understand this, and I think it has prepared us to do. So I'm telling the actors and people out there, creatives, to brace themselves and know that once you create something that is, good enough, mouth must talk. And when they talk, you take out time to go through it and see what works. For him, it might be to look at another film that is this, because we are low budget. We cannot lie that we are low budget. And we do another one, and they start talking, and we make our money. And that is the success of that production. So I feel that actors and creatives should, brace up, encourage these things, and look at it. Charles is not the first time he's doing a movie. He has done a whole lot of movies before now, and there have been a lot of criticism. Not all of them are good, but he's still producing. He has not given up. Do you understand? And tomorrow, Charles is relevant because people are talking about him. Imagine that Charles does a movie and nobody speaks about it. He can't do another one. Do you understand what I'm saying? The fact that people are saying this one did not get it right, we make them come next tomorrow to watch the other one and know whether he got it right. Is rocket science? Do you understand? So I think is also welcome, but we as creatives should brace up and know that it's part of the business and we take it. Do you understand? Because even people that are selling oranges, madam, Roma at all, this orange is no sweet, but he has already bought it. Do you understand? And if the woman come out tomorrow and say this one is very sweet, he will still buy it. Oh, we collect one cake, say, madam, no Roma at all again. Do you understand? And that is what our industry is like. We do it, put it out there. They talk about it. We go back to our drawing board, adjust what we need to adjust, come back again and do it again, and they talk about it again. And over time, they will have little or nothing to say. Once you know what you're doing and you're doing it the right way.
Like I will add in closing, like I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm in competition with myself. When I do a film, I will evaluate it, look at it. I already know my weaknesses. I already know where I should have done better. The next project, I'll try to do it better. But if you just listen to noise everywhere, you won't be able to do next project. Be discouraged if you, especially when you open a comment and say, I couldn't even get past 1 minute of the video. And this is a 1 hour project. Somebody saying, not watch first 1 minute. You think the person might be lying, but he's saying the truth, you don't know. But just take it and move on. Don't even reply. But Charles was trying to tell people, okay, you don't like my movie, no problem. Do your own, send me link, I'll watch. That one maybe I guess he was angry because it was the night he dropped that movie. That people are already in the comment section telling him, you people don't even try. I was seeing a 2005 Jeep, 1993 movie. The other one was saying, that boy that they were already tearing down the main character. And because he expected to see the big characters there playing the lead role, but those people were just like extras, so they were disappointed. Their favorites, like John Dumelo, and all they are in the film, but they're not the main characters. And that's what we are saying, because Hollywood can sell a movie without looking at who is there.
And please don't go this time. Leave this.
No, it's part of what we are saying. Because of you're criticizing a work of art because it's not going the way you thought it will go. But you're not the creative person. You're not the one producing it. You're not the one directing it. Someone's creative idea is this, and this person has given you this. You have to appreciate it. And even if you don't appreciate it, just like you were saying, you can do your own. And I say people pick up phones and do stuff on TikTok. Do it, let's see. But even as at today, some people can still not go on TikTok and do that regular thing people are doing. And you see that is a whole lot of things. So you can't allow somebody that does not understand, that has not done a production of 5 million before, to tear down a 25 million project. Do you understand what I mean? Because sometimes they say, I will do it better. If you put them in those shoes, they can't even do better. And that is why when we talk about things like Asaba film industry, I tell you that these people are the people that brought us here. No matter how we think they are not doing it right, they are doing something. It is better than sitting idle. So when we are criticizing the work of art, somebody has already done something. You are just, trying to, put your opinion there. But you have not done anything. You are sitting down watching something that somebody. So if you feel that this is not right, I've seen people where they come from different careers to come and come into film. So you're a medical doctor, you feel that this thing didn't go well. Then you can reach out to Charles. Next production, you give your input, and you feel that there are things that we did not depict very well. You can also start your own production and do it better. But people need to be seeing things, and that is what we are saying. To shoot a film of that caliber, trying to use the costume, you look at the costumes there, because when people are analyzing or criticizing a film, they don't even look at the key things. You look at the costume, you look at the locale, you look at the cinematography, you look at lighting and some other things, sound. These things came out nice, but you feel that there is a particular way it should have been, that this than this. Which community in Nigeria is still driving? Which community drives a 1990 car? Africa, do you understand what I'm trying to do? So when we see some things, we understand these things, but because I have done my own fair share of criticizing of Hollywood movies too, and they're not fantastic. And I tell you what they do. They have a film board that come down and say, okay, if you produce movies that you don't see, they review these films and they code it. And I tell you that this in a film, in a year, you know how many Hollywood films like a banger that you've seen.
Blockbusters.
As little as Nigeria is, as little as the industry is,
we're making markets.
We're making waves, and we're giving you blockbusters back to back. And these are from individuals that that sometimes is even like a personal production. It's not like a community production. So we are doing so well, and I will not talk down on what we are doing, both in Nigeria as a whole and both in Eastern Nigeria. I just know that we have to work harder, and we will get there eventually. But we are doing so well.
Yeah. All right. So creatives, just be consistent. And to the government of the day. Here we can't beg, Abby. We are just requesting that a system, a structure that enables creatives to function better and actually
devoid of political interference.
Yeah, devoid of political interference. Yes, very important. Very, very important.
Me, I don't belong to any political party, and I cannot force somebody.
We are non-partisans. As far as the creative industry is
concerned. Creative to leave politics.
Yes, and the government can also create grants for filmmakers if they can't get the equipment and get all those things.
Bank
they
of
can
Industries
just create grants and assist the filmmakers when they have these things and they meet a certain requirement. They come through and pick up those grants, assist them, give them a low interest, whatever, or even give them a grant that they don't have to. You know that this is your part of your support to this industry, knowing fully well that a lot of individuals, a lot of youths, a lot of young people are employed while any production is going on. There is no production that can be done alone. You cannot be the actor and the cinematographer and the editor. You must employ people, and these people that they are employing are mostly young people. So if the government is supporting a production, it's actually supporting a whole line of youth, and that is what we need to keep our youth busy and get them to focus on what they are here for.
Thank you very much. It's so wonderful having you today in the studio. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you.